This is a snake, and there's plenty of good reasons to be terrified of snakes. Let me tell you a story about one great reason to be scared of snakes. So this is a story about a 5-year-old girl that was bitten by a cottonmouth just as summer was getting started. So the story goes, the child is a 5-year-old who is at the family's lake house playing on the edge of the water by the lake, and the mom is sitting about 50 feet away from the child and hears her scream. Stands up to go over there to see what's going on with the child. And by the time she gets to the child is on the ground, grabbing her leg, just crying hysterically. The mother has no idea what happened. By the time the mother picked up the child and brought her to the porch of the lake house and sat her down, the child actually begins to feel sick and starts vomiting. So this snake is a water moccasin, also known as a cottonmouth, and it belongs to a family of snakes called pit vipers. And pit vipers are capable of delivering deadly bites with a hemotoxic mixture of enzymes and proteins that essentially pre-digest its prey. The only problem is this family and this lake house is located in a rural, isolated area. So to get the child from this isolated area to a tertiary pediatric center is quite an ordeal sometimes. So by the time the ground team arrives to pick the child up, to transport the child to the point of rendezvous, the child is cyanotic, which means the child has already started turning blue. The child has some areas on her body that are like bruises, like little dots where the blood vessels maybe have ruptured. The blood is really thin and has seeped out of the blood vessels. So already this venom is taking effect in her body. So by the time she gets from the lake house to the point of rendezvous for the air ambulance and then airlifted to the tertiary pediatric center, 90 minutes had passed. So by the time she got to the emergency department, she had visible bruising and petechia, which are like small bruises, pretty much all over her body. She had fresh blood in her airway. She had bruises on her face. And basically she was gasping for breath. Her oxygen saturation was only in the 80s, and this was on non-rebreather 100% face mask. So in the emergency department, she was immediately intubated. And during intubation, there's fresh blood in the airway. There's lots of secretions, but the airway was secured. And she is given blood transfusion. She's given FFP. She's given platelets. And then 6 vials of Crofab are ordered, which is antivenom. So ultimately, this child is moved from the emergency department to the peds ICU. And over the course of her ICU stay, she's given more blood products, FFP. She's given cryoprecipitate. She's given Factor 7. She's given lots of IV fluids. She stays intubated until she's breathing on her own. Actually, she stays in the PICU for 11 days, and then she's able to be downgraded to a med surg bed, and she ended up actually doing pretty well. In total, she ended up getting about 50 units of Crofab. So you can see how expensive this treatment was, but it saved her life.